Hello, I'm Donald Leggett. Welcome to the latest London South East CEO interview. I'm joined today by Werner Klingenberg, CEO at Goldplat, the AIM-listed gold recovery services company headquartered in South Africa. GDP operate a successful international gold recovery business with operations in South Africa and Ghana. Ghana remained very profitable in Q2, while South Africa was profitable, but overall output was affected by power cuts. Greetings, Werner. It is very good to see you again.
Same on this side. Thank you, Donald.
Excellent. How would you summarize the results for the second quarter, which takes us up to the end of December 2022?
Yes, well, Donald, in a lot of ways, quarter two was actually extremely good quarter. We saw good steady supply, as you indicated just now, into Ghana. We also signed a good contract in South Africa. We also saw some progress in terms of some capital projects. We started the construction of our tailings facility in South Africa, which we need to complete to enable us to process the old tailings facility in South Africa. And I think, talking about results, we continued producing around 1 million pounds of operating profit in Ghana for the quarter. Unfortunately, South Africa's operation has been impacted by the current electricity cuts experienced in the country, and the operating profits reduced to roughly 350,000 pounds for the last quarter, which is basically 1 million less than the previous year, quarter two. Now, I think just to qualify that, the previous quarter and quarter two was quite a good period for South Africa. But we still roughly about 700,000 to 500,000 pounds down, and we are currently looking at ways of addressing that.
Okay, but in the interim, let me ask you about the audited results. The audited results were delayed, if I understand correctly, Werner. If you could talk us through the delay, please.
Yes, well, I think you need to add on the good audited results. I think we had an extremely good period at the end of June 2022. Based on the numbers, we're currently trading at PE of roughly between 4 and 5. So obviously, from my perspective, it's quite frustrating that we couldn't get those good numbers out to the market sooner. It's definitely not something that we want to repeat into the next financial period. And then there's a lot of reasons and a lot of factors that was at play at the end of the day. And I think I just want to give shareholders and potential shareholders the confidence that it's not something that we'll just take. It's something we're addressing and making sure it doesn't repeat.
I know you pride yourself on the long-term stability of group earnings, Werner. Presumably your industrial processes, your circuits, they're pretty energy intensive. So to what extent can you actually generate sufficient power through diesel generators?
Yes, obviously, since moving away from mining, we have been producing quite steadily, albeit sometimes fluctuating. And I think, our focus to the market and what we've indicated we want to achieve is to grow a business that can actually produce these steady results quarter to quarter, year to year. We'll talk about what we're looking at in terms of diversifying in the near future. If we look at the current problem in South Africa, generating the power through diesel wouldn't be a problem. It's actually quite easy to generate that amount of power, but we don't think it's economically feasible at this point in time to really go and invest the money required and also to run those or to burn that amount of diesel. And we will rather look at ways where we can increase the capacity in the times we've got electricity, and also see if we can change some of our processes to increase the amount of material we can process in the times available. That being said, it is quite a difficult period. As we speak, we're currently going through electricity cuts at this point in time, and we will keep the market updated in terms of how this is impacting our operation, and obviously also how the measures we're taking is actually eliminating it.
Okay, power cuts in South Africa are not a new thing. They've been going on for many, many years. So how long do you expect these particularly disruptive outages to continue for?
Yes, it's not a new thing. Obviously, since November, the time we're losing due to power cuts has increased quite significantly. And there's a lot of data out in the market, a lot of news articles. Currently, we're looking at between 12 to 18 months. It might be sooner, it might be later, depending on various type of factors outside of our control. But I think it does give us opportunity to look at the way we are producing at this point in time and see if there's anything we can change to really be to optimize the operation.
Yes, changing your processes sounds like a very good idea.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to Ecowas. We often talk about recovering waste materials from the Ecowas West African states. What's available? What are you finding? And is the intention to send more materials to Ghana for processing? Some clarity there would be very helpful.
Okay, so I mean, in the end, Ghana is obviously already in the Ecowas area. It has been constructed specifically to service the West African market, and we have been quite active for the last 15 years. Currently, we're probably servicing less than half of the mining operations or gold mining operations in West Africa. And the reason why we're not servicing everyone differs from mine to mine, from country to country. Some of it is client specific. Some of it is because we're still in the process of getting approval from the governments to export the material out of the countries to Ghana. But we do have a lot of irons in the fire. We are busy with different governments and different clients at the same time. And I'm sure we'll probably see some good results in the near future based on these efforts.
But it's much easier to export to Ghana than it is to export to South Africa. You would never consider exporting to South Africa.
No, we're not considering exporting to South Africa, definitely not.
Great. So meanwhile, in parallel, it's great to see that your efforts in South America are working well. Talk us through the future opportunity in South America and give us a sense of how much CapEx you believe you will spend. It's prudent to actually spend there.
I mean, Donald, we've been active in South America for more than 5 years. We've built up quite good relationships, but it came to a point where we realized we're going to need our own address there to be able to advance and build on the relationships we've built. And it will investing into property and plant there will not just give us a base. It will also then give us the ability to focus on the lower grade and higher margin type of material that the primary producers also produce. It's not economical to ship all the way to Ghana. And to start with, we're probably going to invest roughly £100,000, which is not a lot, into land and some infrastructure. And then we'll start expanding based on when we acquire material into plant we need to process that and to generate the products we require. So we're going to start off small, but it's actually quite exciting in terms of what this initial investments probably will give us into the future.
Well, given your problems in South Africa, it must feel very comforting to be diversifying successfully into South America and then building your operations there in parallel.
Yes, that's the focus from a geography point of view, diversifying, giving us more access to broader clients, and also being able to take some of our current clients in South Africa and Ghana over to South America, because some of these groups obviously have operations in different continents. It's obviously exciting.
Construction of the new tailings storage facility has begun, as you alluded to in the opening. But the proposed pipeline to DRD's gold premises is still being evaluated. Is it hard to obtain permissions for these types of things in Johannesburg?
I don't think hard. And what we're looking for in terms of permissions is also not, I believe, something that's difficult. Some of the approvals we've already received. I think it's more a case of just the timelines around this can take some time, and it's not always that clear. And I think I'm hoping to get more certainty in terms of timelines in the near future to be able to give the market some indication to say, well, we should be able to get the approval by that time, and then it will take us that long to construct the pipelines. And based on certain negotiations with DRD, we will then be able to start processing the TSF at a certain point in time. So I don't think I'm concerned about not getting the approval. I'm just frustrated that I can't give a date. That's the big thing.
But let's talk about the positives. The new tailings storage facility is being constructed as we speak. What benefits does that give the business?
Well, I think, obviously it will give us, firstly, everything is currently being done in terms of new standards. It's going to give us a proper lined facility on which we can deposit, which is obviously for us quite encouraging and important to make sure our footprint is managed as best as possible. It obviously then gives us the additional capacity for the operations in the foreseeable future, probably between 6 to 8 years. And then furthermore, it gives us the opportunity, as we discussed now, to process the whole facility, which still contains 82,000 ounces of JORC resource. That was done in 2016. Since then, a lot of tons was added to that, so it's probably more by now. And that's running at a grade of between 1.7 and 1.8 grams a ton. So there's still a lot of value sitting there, and nothing is currently on the balance sheet. So we're looking to extract that value in the future for our shareholders.
Okay, moving swiftly on to something entirely different.
Yes.
You're putting a small amount of money into new coal cleaning and recovery technology. As you do, I've realised that's how you operate. You put very prudent amounts of money in and see how it goes. Is it wise to invest in a country with such fundamental energy problems, Werner?
Well, I mean, just to quickly talk a bit about the coal investment. I mean, we invested £150,000. That gave us 15% interest in the technology company, but also the ability to utilize some of the equipment. And that equipment will be utilized within our gold plant, actually, to extract some of the value and give us some additional flexibility and capacity. So that itself, I'm quite excited about. It also gives us the opportunity to invest roughly £1.5 million to operationalize the technology that they've developed over the last 5 years, to extract value or to extract fine coal from old coal slurry dumps. Really, I mean, this for me fits 100% within our current business model, and we might discuss it soon.
If you could explain how this all feeds through into the business model for us, please, Werner.
Yes, thank you, Donald. I think I've indicated to the market that, I mean, for me, what Goldplat is and has always been is somebody that really looked at extracting as much as possible value from what the primary mining operations has done. So when they process through their primary processes, there's certain material they leave behind. Our focus is to extract value from that. We've done it successfully in gold. We're currently doing it in PGMs. And the whole focus is to say, well, can we go and diversify and apply this to different commodities? We have identified the opportunity in South Africa, specifically on the gold side, and I think there's a lot of opportunities there, a lot of material to process, which is for us obviously important in terms of securing resources. And secondly, obviously, we're still evaluating our options, Donald, and in doing so, just to answer your previous question, we will consider whether there will be any impact from electricity supply into those operations and how we can manage those.
Okay, thank you so much for spending time with us, Werner. That was absolutely fascinating as ever. That was Werner Klingenberg, CEO of Goldplat. Thank you very much for the useful operational update. For more free company information and data about Goldplat, please go to the GDP pages on London South East. You get a nice chat board there as well, free data. Do follow us on Twitter at London South East, or register on London South East YouTube. That's like you Google London South East YouTube and you'll get all these interesting CEO interviews and so on. Thank you for watching, and as always, do stay safe.